Hey guys, 31 hashtag here, and this is the tier list that I'm posting every month. None of this is scripted, so I'm just gonna be saying words until I finish the video. Alright, I'm gonna go in chronological order of the games I've played. So first off, Five Nights at Candy's Remastered. It's a classic. We all love it. Obviously, it's an A tier. I should probably explain what the tiers are. F tier is for games that just uh they were programs. They technically functioned and did stuff when I clicked things, but it didn't really work. These are for games that just sort of fell apart when I tried to play them. And by fell apart, I don't mean like they had bugs. I mean like completely didn't work. A D tier, um, D tier is for games that are just okay. Like, think of the worst fan game you've played. That's probably there, but it's also just like meh. C tier is meh. I just described D tier as meh. I can't describe C tier as also meh. C tier is just average fan game. It's mid. Uh, yeah. There's not really much else to say about this tier because it's mid. It's mid. There was originally a tier below here for programs that just didn't, but if it didn't, I wouldn't have played it. So, yeah. B tier is for games that are above average, but are still not A or S tier. They're good. They're just not the peak. A tier is for the best games, in my opinion. Though these are the ones that really had me engaged and were really, really just sick or cool. Insert synonym. And then there's S tier. S tier is for games that you, as the viewer, should play right now. Just it doesn't matter what else you're doing. Just you should play it. You should play the. You should play those games. Anyways, Five Nights at Candy's Remastered is an A tier. I suggest you play it, but like it's not a aggressive. You should play this right now. Do it. Yeah, that's FNaF Remastered. Next up is Tesla Survival. It's an F tier. It is actually the lowest rated game on this list because it barely functioned. I had no idea what was going on, and I'll be honest, I don't know why. It just didn't work. There were zero Teslas in this game. I was promised a Tesla. I was promised survival with Teslas, and there was neither of that. Anyways, right past that is Creepy Diner. It was not creepy. Just want to say, if your game is down in these tiers, I'm not saying that you should stop making games. In fact, I encourage you to continue making games and making better games, because if I were to rank my older FNAF fan games like That Night Entitled 2, Hallway Crawl, which technically isn't a FNAF fan game, but it's close enough, I'd put those like down here too. I wouldn't even put them in C tier, just put them down there because they honestly weren't that good. Um, and honestly, they didn't function. So I encourage you to get better at design in a constructive criticism way, not like I'm digging myself a hole. Anyways, Six Night with Cheeses. It's D tier. The thing is, it was well made. There's just no gameplay. You just sat there. This is one of two games where you just sit there. And the thing is, it wasn't even a game that was sort of not marketed, just sort of pushed as a, oh, you just sit there. It's a real night at Five Nights at Freddy's. No, you just sit there. They did nothing. You couldn't open or close the door. There was no power. It just didn't really pan out that well. Anyways, One Night with a Random Guy is A tier. We're jumping up and down, boys. One Night with a Random Guy was an early game in this series, but it was very good. Uh, it had it had mechanics that worked very well with itself, and the it had varied threats. Like some of the other one night games, namely, uh, a couple you'll see later, they didn't have varied threats. Like, sure, they'd come at you, but you'd just deter them all the same way. With One Night with the Random Guy, at least the ones I've seen, they come in different ways, and you block them off in different ways, which I think is how you design a good one night game. Um, Next up is Cloaked. It's in B tier. It's an RPG game, so it's using a different uh, grading system, I guess. I mean, it's the same. The tiers are like the same, but like it's using a different standard, I guess. From what I've seen, it was pretty cool. I would play more, and I'm hoping it does not get 100 likes. Anyways, not the game. The game was pretty cool. I'm hoping my video didn't get 100 likes because reasons. Next up is those nights at Lucky's rebooted. I word good. That's in D tier. Mainly because my computer was slow. That's not the game's fault. But what was the game's fault is the fact that it was just very monotonous. Like there honestly wasn't much to do. Maybe it would have changed as I got through the game, but from what I experienced, it was just okay. Next up, Five Nights at Trollface. It's in B tier. It's slightly above average, but since there's a music box, I cannot put it any higher than B tier. I'm sorry. Oh yeah, also Lucky's had a music box, and that is a fan game sin. That's a joke. um. Anyways, One Night at Red's is in C tier. It's at the bottom of C tier because it's just sort of average. It's it's mid, in like the most mid way possible. And joining in C tier is That Night Entitled 3, my own game. Why am I putting it there? Because I'm trying to counteract any amount of bias that I may have for the game. I think it's pretty good, but that's mostly because I made it. So if you want an actual accurate experience with it, you should play it yourself or watch a YouTuber play it. There aren't any YouTubers playing it because it's not a big game. So you should play it yourself. That'd be good. Next up is Dormitibus Remastered. It's in B tier. It was scary. It had cool mechanics. I remember, I think, playing or seeing someone play the original version. It was pretty scary. The good voice acting is pretty good. B tier. Destroy the Money is B tier also, but lower B tier because the thing was it was sort of just a one-time experience, and it was a promo for another game, but I just liked it. It was good. I liked it. I don't need to explain myself. Shut up. Golden Time. Five Nights at Freddy's Golden Time is D tier because it's Five Nights at Cheese's, but half the time. But the thing is, it had a bunch of stolen renders. All the renders were stolen from either FNaF, original FNaF games, or from that one meme where Fredbear just starts dancing because the animatronics get quirky at night. Anyway, speaking of games that fall apart, every time, I think that's what it was called, right? No, it was Do Everything. It sure did everything. Bad. F, you failed. That's the game. Pretty much. It broke OBS, which is partially why it's an F tier. I'll be honest, I probably should have like rewatched the videos, but I'm already too far down the tier list for this. Anyways, the only S tier game that I've played right so far is Percy's Playtime with Percy. I almost said Percy Playtime. That's a different thing. Playtime with Percy. It's a nice little charming game where you play with Percy, and the thing is, I I don't know if I should say this, but I've also been factoring in let's plays that I've seen of these games, and from what I've seen, this game gets very intense. I will continue through the game if the demand is high enough, but oh, it's good. It's good. Animation's good. The gameplay is good. The I'll be honest, that's really the only. Well, there's also sound. Sound was good. Uh, what else can I compliment? It's S tier game. It was really good. Good gameplay. Good design. Love it. Next up is 1 week of not touching grass. It's in D tier because it barely worked. It worked on the skin of its teeth, and the only reason I'm putting it above these two is because there's actual gameplay. Speaking of transitions, One Night at Red's 2 is right below One Night at Red's because I'll be honest, One Night at Red's 2 was worse designed than One Night at Red's. It's the thing is, there was a story. I did not get the story, but also, you could have just closed the vents. You can just close the vents and nothing happens. Red wasn't active enough for it to be a very big issue. But in One Night at Red's, the original, you actually had to do stuff because you couldn't stay in the vent. In the sequel, you can just close the door. I believe it was The Nights with the Wizards is also C tier because I'll be honest, it's just a FNaF fan game. If it's in C tier, there isn't going to be much to say about it, such as with the UCN Extended. It's a UCN mod, adds characters that weren't there before. That's it. Fazbear's 2015 is an A tier game, and the last A tier game in this list. All the other ones are C and D, and I think maybe one more B. No, there aren't any more B tiers, which doesn't sound that good. But shut up. Fazbear's 2015 had a very cool mechanic, and I liked it, so I put it in A tier. It has cool mechanics. The voice acting was fun. I am running out of words. I'll be honest, I am running a little low on energy today. I just finished recording Ruinborn, so I am a little low on energy. Anyways, Two Nights at Imposters. It's in D tier. It had gameplay, but like it was really slow. They only came to my door once. At least with One Night at Red's 2, they came to the vent multiple times. They only came to my door once, and they didn't do anything. Anyways, Red Stickman's All Nighter. It was pretty much just a scripted game. And isn't it very relatable when you want to just give someone an iPhone 14, but you accidentally kill them? Very relatable. Also, it's a joke game, so that's probably why it's down here. Then it is The Resurrected Pizzeria. It's in C tier, along with Ruinborn. I'm just gonna show it. I'll be honest, they're just sort of mid. They're both FNaF fan games. Didn't really mix up the formula all that much. Or that one didn't really mix up the formula all that much. And this one was just really short. And I bugged it out. So yeah, this is the tier list. And you know how I've always been bad at ending videos.